Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please?
NERevs UK, all things revolution from a UK perspective.
Hello everybody and welcome back to the NERevs UK show, all things revolution from a UK perspective, and the first game in a very long time with fans in attendance at Gillette Stadium has been and gone. The dust has settled and we will be obviously talking about the game as the Revolution took on the DC United team. I didn't know where I was going with that one. But yeah, I'm going to predict that this one's going to be a bit of a bite-sized episode, if I'm being perfectly honest. I don't know how much visually you're going to have to watch as well, so I do apologise for that. But, you know, unfortunately, when not a lot happens, I can't really make it up. So in today's episode, we have got a little review of the game against DC United. I've got a bit of a, I can't really say an in-depth analysis of the performance because there's only like a 2-minute highlight package, but I will be breaking down some bits of that for you, so stick around for that. We've obviously got Who's That Revimon, everyone's favourite game that nobody loves to play. And we've got a few questions from you lovely viewers as well as my predictions as the Revolution take on Atlanta United in the next game as well. Right, so we're just going to move over to the game against DC United. I've just made a few notes here, and then what we'll do is we'll roll into the the analysis as the Revolution took on the DC United. First point I've put is we are back at Gillette Stadium. Well, not we. I obviously wasn't there, which, you know, I've said plenty of times. But one day, guys, it will happen. You will see me at a New England Revolution game one day. Probably 2022, I'm predicting, but this year, I don't know. Who knows? But it is going to happen, 100%. It will happen. It's just when it's safe to do so, and things are organised. But it was great to see you lot back at Gillette Stadium. I'm sure obviously it was an amazing view. Thank you to every single person who sent and tagged me in a photo. It looked, and video, it looked just, although it was like socially distanced and all that kind of stuff, it just still looked like a great atmosphere and a great, obviously, spectacle to be back at the at Gillette Stadium watching the Revolution play some football. I'm not going to dwell on this too much, but obviously I've got to touch on the referee's performance. And I wouldn't really say it was good for either team. I think he struggled to kind of control the game, or maybe I suppose the opposite was that he tried to control the game too much. It was too stop-start. He was very whistle happy, but missed some massive moments of the game as well. So I don't want to say, I don't want to dwell on it too much, but just what the fuck, basically. Like, I've even noted down here that I'm pretty certain he blew up early as well at the end of the first half. I'm not too sure what was going through his head. As I say, he just didn't let the game flow. Gave a lot of stuff both ways as well. I don't think he was biased towards any one in particular team. Just it was a scrappy match. DC were committing a lot of fouls. Some of them, I think, rightfully given. A lot of them, I was like, that's a bit dubious. Like, just let it go. Let the play continue. Just seemed very whistle happy and missed a hand. I don't know, just missed some big moments and was calling up for needless moments. As I said, a very scrappy game though. Hard for either team really to get going. I don't think DC really were trying to get going, if I'm being perfectly honest. It just seemed like their game plan was to kind of just stop us trying to play, and they did it well, to be fair. You've got to say that to DC. You know, they had a very weakened 11. They had a lot of injuries at the moment and stuff, and I think they stuck to their game plan. It's not ideal, it's not nice to watch, but they nearly got away with it. They nearly got a point from it. So, you know, obviously sometimes you've got to play to the strengths of the team, and their plan was to disrupt New England, and they did it. You know, I wouldn't say a lot of it was, you know, all the, you can say like sportsmanship thrown out the window, all that kind of stuff, but at the end of the day, they're paid to win a game of football, and while I would never like to see the Revolution play that way, I suppose in a way we kind of did in some aspects. Like, it was an ugly game, horrible game to watch back in terms of there wasn't a lot of football going on. But I will say that I do think if that would have happened back in the Brad Friedel era, that definitely would have not been we wouldn't have got 3 points from that. There probably would have been red cards. I think we won it. We won it ugly, but we won it in a day. And 3 points is better than none, isn't it? Which I don't even know why I'd say them words then. That's ridiculous. Other things of note down is that Brandon Boyer must be a fan of the show, because he performed really well. So gave him a little bit of, some may say, constructive criticism last week, and he just seemed to address most of it during that game. So well done, Brandon. Really, really solid performance. Passing was good. I wouldn't still say great, but definitely a big improvement. Seemed composed on the ball. Just looked like he's finally, hopefully now, kicking on. And I'm hoping that he can just continue that vein of form, and we hopefully can see a really, really solid season from Brandon. Carlos just didn't really have a chance to be impactful, in my opinion. Was getting fouled a lot. I don't think the referee did a good job of trying to protect him. And I do think that, to be fair, DC had a good game plan. They doubled up on him at times. They literally just stopped him. I think we're going to see this a lot this season, if I'm being honest. I think a lot of teams know how Carlos can damage them, so they will try and, unfortunately, put a lot of pressure on him, commit a lot of fouls on him. And this is where I think Bruce really and the team need to speak to the referees before each game and just make sure that Carlos is kept safe, because if he picks another injury, we've seen how much of a big loss he is to us. So, it's going to happen, unfortunately, because he just is that good. Not his fault, but it happens all over the place. You've got people like Phil Foden. Again, he gets injured a lot. He gets fouled a lot because he's good. Jack Grealish of Aston Villa as well. Same with him. Jack Harrison, again, he gets fouled a lot because when he picks up the ball for Leeds, it just happens. Rafinha, again, he's another player now when he's starting to come with some form, and unfortunately he's out injured at the moment. And it's just happened to these kind of flair players that pick up the ball and run and can do something slightly different. And I'm not trying to say that. I just apologise for that, because I'm not trying to say that Jack Harrison is the level of Phil Foden or even Jack Grealish. I'm just trying to say that them players that can kind of make things happen in a game and change a game for their teams. Sometimes, unfortunately, just rightfully so, sometimes they get targeted by the opposition team because they've got to stop them. But I think it's up to our coaching staff and management team to obviously address that. I will talk about this a little bit as I kind of elaborate more on when I talk about my predictions and how I think the Revs should line up in the next game. But for me, Buchanan wants to start. He came on. He looked really, really good. Looks hungry. Looks like he wants to give Bruce a headache, which is great. Great, we need competition. And for me, I've noted here that, again, kind of alongside this, and we'll talk about it in a little bit more depth, as I say, in my prediction piece. But Bo had another nothing game for me. Again, missing for huge chunks of the game. Not really struggling to get involved and almost not looking like he wanted to get involved, which is weird because sometimes you see, I think it's because you kind of just see it in bits and starts from Gustavo. He'll have a good kind of 10 minutes or so where he's chasing and trying to get something up, and then he kind of almost looks despondent at times. And I think there's a chance that Buchanan could look to kind of sneak in and take this opportunity as his now, which I know some of you might be thinking, how does that work? How does Buchanan fit in for Bo? But you'll find out. I am a tactical genius. But yeah, he needs to Gustavo, I think, honestly, if I'm being brutally honest here, which I do try to be in every single episode, is he needs to sit out a game. He needs to be put on the bench and made to fight to gain that place back now, because I don't think that place is his. I don't think he should be guaranteed a start. I know he's a DP signing, but I don't think he should be guaranteed a starting place, because of the two performances so far, he wouldn't make it in my team. and that's the truth. He just would not. He hasn't been good enough. I mean, we see him kind of still interacting with, his previous team and stuff. So I don't know if there's anything to it. I don't know if he's still thinking about going back there or what. I don't know. But if he wants to play for the New England Revolution, he needs to get his head back in the game. I've probably just entered a lovely clip for you guys to watch there. If not, then I'll put it in now. But he plays for the New England Revolution currently. He's contracted with us, and if he's not given us his best on the pitch, then he doesn't deserve to be out on the pitch, in my opinion. Captain looked tidy, really, really good. And I think in more open games, he'll definitely showcase more of what he can do. We did see it in parts, and I feel like because he isn't fully match fit, he was just kind of starting to get things ticking over. Then unfortunately, you kind of see that, maybe he was flagging a little bit from the fact he hasn't really played a proper game in a while. So I mean, Bruce probably rightfully took him off at that point. But yeah, I think we're definitely going to see some good stuff from that lad. He looked very, very very tight on the ball. Looks like he got a good footballing brain in him. And yeah, very, very pleased. Tristanton, I apologise, I probably pronounced your name wrong. Really busy. Obviously, he changed it up as well. I like the fact that he did that. Sometimes he stopped out wide. Sometimes he was cutting in. He found himself quite central at sometimes. He got himself in and around the box, arrived late. He had good few times when he kind of arrived at the right time from costing situations and stuff. Just thought he looked really, really busy. Wouldn't say, the moment from what I've seen of him, I wouldn't say I'm like, this guy's it. But yeah, good first impressions, and hopefully as he starts to gel a bit more with the team and understand what we're aiming for here, and understand the game plans and all that kind of stuff, we'll just see more and more from him. But yeah, really, really good. Good first impression. As I say, I think he will devastate defences. That the kind of more he kind of learns what the Revolution's about. Maffler as well. I didn't speak very highly of him when I seen him against the Revolution 2. Well, it wasn't not highly, but I didn't really sing his praises. It wasn't really much of a muchness for me. Didn't really shine in a team where I thought he probably should shine. But he added a little bit of flair to this back line, which maybe you don't need flair in your back line. Sorry, but yeah, just I think he had a good performance all round. I think it was. I didn't note any points where I kind of had him massively, causing any huge issues to the defence and stuff. But obviously I could have missed something, probably did. I was very tired as I was watching back. So, but yeah, I put in, he had a decent performance, I did a bit of flair, and overall pretty solid. To be fair, I actually noted down that the whole back line it was a pretty comprehensive performance from them. Obviously, I know they didn't have loads to deal with, but the kind of stuff that they did have to deal with, I felt like we dealt with it as well as we possibly could have. Other things of note, I do apologise for any kind of scuffles and stuff, guys. I've just not. I haven't got my microphone at the moment, unfortunately. So it's going to be pretty raw audio. I don't think it's massively different, but I noticed that it picks up a lot of different noises when I haven't got my microphone in. So Adam looks hungry this season. Look, I think if he carries on with the way he's been, his work ethic seems a lot better. Overall, he just seems to be getting in better positions. He just looks really hungry, and if he continues this vein of form, I think he alone will win us games at times. And I think I said it in the first episode, I think he's going to get 20 plus goals this season. I know he didn't score, but he just looked a handful. And I think he's going to cause some defences some real big problems. We seem to be utilising him a lot better now, better understanding of his game, his understanding of our game, and everything's slowly just clicking into place. So, as I say, although the game plan that DC had, I don't think we kind of dealt with maybe the best we could have done. I think there's definitely times when teams are going to do this against us, unfortunately. But and we need to learn from that, which I'm sure we will do. But yeah, Adam looks like he's going to be solid this season. Matty the Rock Polster, and that's just the name I call him. I think you guys should as well. I don't know why I wouldn't. I think it's a great name for him. Or even just Matt the Rock Polster. Just a solid showing again. I know some people aren't a massive fan of him, and to be fair, I've mentioned this before, wasn't sold on him when we first bought him and didn't understand the didn't understand the transfer at all. But yeah, I'm big enough to admit I was wrong. Big fan. Just again, not a flashy player. Does things well though. Just consistently solid performance week in, week out. And I think it's good that we've got options now. Obviously, we've got Martial, who I'm not too sure what's going on at the moment, but obviously he's going to slot back in. Tommy can play there if need be, but I don't think that partnership works with the Polster McNamara duo. We've got Scotty Coldwell is still there. Cosada, we've got options now, and I think it's Matty's to lose. I think him and Captain are the partnership we should be starting with. Based on that performance, I think it's going to be hard for Martial to get back in. I mean, I was all eager for him to start now, but which one do you drop and why? Why would you drop? I think the could blossom, but yeah, solid performance for him. I put penalty ? I don't really want to kind of talk on all that kind of stuff, but I mean, it's not fair sometimes. And again, I don't think this is either way. I don't think it's not fair to the Revolution. And I think it's equally as not fair to DC sometimes. When you've just got a poor referee, it's just bad all round. It's bad when they swing one way or the other. This one, I don't felt it did. I felt maybe slightly was, we could have gained a bit more from it, but it was just poor around. And the last point I've kind of already touched upon, that obviously 2019, that would have been a loss, right? Ugly is an ugly way to win, but we still got the 3 points, which was right. And that's pretty much all I've got to note. So as I say, probably going to be a bite-sized episode. We're going to roll now into the in-depth analysis part, and then we'll move over to everyone's favourite part of the show that no one gets involved in, and it's Who's That Revimon? Right, okay, we're going to run it back to the game against DC United here. So we've got about a 7 or 8 minute clip, which we're going to kind of run through and just kind of pinpoint moments of the game where I think the Revolution either did well or where they could have done better. So let's get into this, shall we? So yeah, it was an interesting game, as I said. Very, very stop-start. Not really any particularly amazing soccer on display here, but first of all, obviously we can see here opportunity for the Revolution to work it down the left-hand side. Just Scrapy battled out, put out for a throw-in. Again, left-hand side once more. Seems to be, looking to get Tristanthan as busy as we could do, as quickly as we could do, which is good, integrating him into the team. Some good pressure from the Revolution. 5 minutes on the clock, Carlos Hill corner here. Just going to pause it here. So, again, really good delivery, and you can already see from the off that we've got a good number of people in the box. It's got, you've got three or four players kind of in or around that area. We've got Tristanthan, I think, here just pulling kind of towards the front post. Obviously, because we already know it's going to be an outswinger because Carlos is left-footed, so we already know where it's going to come from. So the fact we've got some really good aerial threats there. We've got Gustavo Bo hanging around as well, just in case anything comes over here. And then I think this is Captain over here as well, just in case anything gets kind of cleared, so we can have a go. So the fact we've kind of got 3 players, I think, here, and then we've got another one here and one here. I still would like to see more of them, being honest, because that's. There's nothing over here at all. So what happens if the ball gets over here? I mean, Gustavo could pick it up, but there's nothing really of no. Maybe a Brandon by somewhere over here or something. But it's still work to be done. So we're going to run that forward now and see kind of what it entails to this. I mean, a decent, really good leap. We're just going to run that back slightly there. Look how good this leap is from, considering this is, a standing leap as well. So the defender goes a little bit too early here, in my opinion, thinking he's seen the flight of the ball. It's gone straight over to him. Adam, just great leap from him. Unfortunately, just overhit there. And obviously, as I said, we're quite lucky here that it's come to Gustavo. Got an opportunity, but it does, for me here, for Gustavo, I mean, he's obviously seen the ball fly over. The defender's done really well to close the space down in a short space of time. Gustavo's just thinking of one thing. As soon as he's seen that ball flying over, he's just thinking, I need to hit this first time. In my opinion, what he should be doing, realistically, is playing the ball. We've got Captain somewhere over here on the edge of the area, just playing it back to him, because every single person is shifting their weight over to this way at the moment, and they're all looking in this direction. I very much doubt anyone's picked Captain up over there, but obviously, hindsight is a great thing. But Gustavo does well to win another corner, I suppose you could say. He has just bolted that in. Got Carlos here on the right hand side, just doing all things that Carlos here does. So weaving in inside and outside, not really going anywhere of note there though. In DC doing a decent enough job in defending that one. Now back down the left-hand side we start here. So really good interlink play between these two. I think these two could work well, but you know, it's still only early days, so we shall see.
Scored a good goal as we saw in the open against the Revs in that 4-3 win.
Got still 9 minutes obviously on the clock here. Revolution struggling to get going. Any team really struggling to get going here. I mean, these highlights they've put in here, I mean, I think this goes to show you what kind of the first half was like. There's not really much of a muchness here going on. 22 minutes on the clock now. Really well defended by Henry Kessler there. Ball comes back in. Kessler goes tight. We'll just run that back slightly. I mean, Kessler does really well in the first incidents. Great header from him. And then the ball comes out. I mean, can't really say much on the header. It's a great header. Goes clear. I'd say you'd probably like somebody to be mopping it up. I'm not too sure where the midfield pairing is. I think we've got Polster here, and then I think that's Captain there. So big old space here, though, which isn't ideal. Ball through. Again, you know, Polster's kind of started moving towards the player to close the angle down. Captain's still kind of left in no man's land through there. So that's pulled Kessler out of position. We're just going to slow this down ever so Kessler's come there, which, you know, as you can see, we've got multiple people now. We've got this guy over here. This guy could have tossed it through as well. Multiple opportunities there. Does well, kind of lets the ball run, and yeah, just a free person. Luckily, I mean, it's high, wide, and not very handsome at all. But yeah, definitely a warning sign there for the Revolution that it's can be that easy sometimes for them to get through. Good tackle there. I was really impressed with Polster again. Look at that, just riding challenges all day long, and you know, I think I've mentioned on numerous occasions that I wasn't the biggest fan, I suppose, of the transaction at first, but it's definitely proved me wrong. Good switch of play there though. Brandon Bai, he had a really good game. Brandon did. Carlos, I mean, you can tell what Carlos is trying to do here. He's trying to, and Brandon Bai, I think, deserves a bit of credit here because obviously, you know, I think most people know what Carlos is going to do, but because Brandon carries on his run down here, the defence have got to kind of keep, you know, see there, he gives it a little look, so he's left the man now, so instantly you kind of think that he's going to, you know, try and put it in. So Carlos goes inside a bit, but he knows that Brandon Bai is available, so we can't really leave him free. This guy here does a good job of closing down the space between him and Carlos well, and then yeah, just kind of just a big. I think you can tell straight away that's just an eagerly overhit shot from Carlos trying to get his shot off, and maybe snapped it a little bit too much. Gustavo Bo free kick here, not Carlos on this one. Gustavo to take the free kick. I mean, you know, it's not a bad attempt. I mean, he's worked the goalkeeper, which is always a positive. But I mean, he's kind of just hit it straight at him, which again isn't ideal. I don't really get. I mean, just something there. I don't think he's done anything wrong. If you just watch that back, I just think I think he has potentially arrived late. We're just going to slow that down as well. So just here, yeah, he's just arrived. I mean, there's not really much in it. It wasn't like it was meant. He he did arrive late though, so I'm not too sure what the complaints were about on that one. I don't think it probably warranted a booking, but you know, sometimes a referee can be one of these names in highlights. Attack here, I mean, that's a really good ball in. Really good ball in. But Andrew Farrell, I mean, talk about timing. And, you know, I've probably been, not recently, but, you know, probably not even last season, but the season before, I think I was sometimes critical of Andrew Farrell's defensive abilities. But here, look at this. Just great timing. It does really well as well to kind of, you know, just keep the ball in, you know, out of danger. So not only kind of stopping the ball going through, but also to stop it going back into any dangerous pathways. So on into the second half here. Obviously DC with the kickoff. I'm not too sure why they show the kickoffs for. I suppose it's to show that it's second half. I mean, we could just put some text on the screen, but oh well, that's MLS for you. Carlos with the ball here. Great ball in. I mean, it is a really good, into a really dangerous position. What I would say here is obviously as Carlos is releasing the ball, I mean that's not a bad position to be in. You've got Tristan who's kind of, he's kind of coming in off at the left wing, which is really good to see. Gustavo Bo's in a really, really good position. You've got Adam, who you'd like to see in this kind of space here, maybe, but he's making that forward run. So they've got the 3 players there. But I would say within that though, I mean, I get we've got 2 defensive, but captain for me should be kind of, just for an option, he should be a little bit further forward. I can't remember what passage of play this has come off of. But good ball into a really dangerous area. Defender's got to do something here. If he doesn't do anything, there's 2 Revolution players waiting, so you can't really put any blame on the defender. And unfortunately, he just puts it into his own net. When you put balls into that kind of area, though, that's the kind of thing that can happen. So the more often you get the ball into the danger areas, the better. And the first goal that the Revolution fans have seen in 417 days at Gillette Stadium was an own goal. But we'll take them all day long. If it means we get 3 points, we'll definitely take it. But when you put it into that corridor of uncertainty, sometimes unfortunately just things like that happen. Defender didn't really do too much wrong. Just probably should have put a cleaner connection on it. Tried to look like he tried to control the ball, but just standing here with a decent opportunity there, driving forward and having a go at goal. Nothing wrong with that at all. He's just testing his range. He's still, he's got to work a little bit with the team to kind of get into kind of a rhythm, I suppose, with them. Here, nice feet from Captain, though. We'll just kind of slow that down just to picks up the ball here. 2 defenders coming onto him. Just takes them out with one just turn. Just one. There wasn't anything even that special, really. One turn. Nice little ball through there. Gustavo knows he's in an offside position to kind of leaves it. Sorry, Carlos. And a really decent hit there. Was that Carlos? I'm not too sure who that was. Basically, a Revolution player with his hands up there because he knows he's in an offside position. And then, just a decent strike. Was just wide. And, that was Carlos with the shot, wasn't it? Another great ball by Captain there. This is the thing, like for me, Captain was just about getting going, but you could see his legs were. And Adam, I mean, he is looking so confident these days. It's really, really pleasing to see the kind of the difference in player. But what a ball from Captain here, just first time pass into the space, and then Adam just picks up the ball, just runs, just confident there, just to take on his man and beat him. I would say here, he is a bit too far out for my liking, and you've got Gustavo, who's made a really, really good run here, and he's got all this kind of space here in front of him, and if that just goes over there, we could be a different story at the end of the day. But he's kind of backing himself, which is good to see. It's never a bad thing, but it would have been nice to kind of see get something on target. But just good, they're confident, just dragging it across because he's going to hit it with his left foot. It wasn't far off, to be fair. It was not far off at all. I mean, we're getting a highlight of a yellow card there. Double yellow card. I mean, you can tell, and it's not an interesting match, can you? Captain just tries to get kind of the ball as quickly as he can, but maybe a little bit overzealous in that one. Again, but you can tell it wasn't the best of games when we're getting like little free kicks and incidents like this, and all the yellow cards kind of coming up in the highlight packages. I mean, I think the Revolution got it down to a 2-minute video, which is probably about right, because this is a 7 or 8 minute video, and there definitely is not 7 or 8 minutes of highlights in this. Opportunity here, I mean, that for me was probably the actual most dangerous opportunity they caused up to now, because I mean, from here, you're probably thinking, okay, that this isn't ideal, Mafla should be closer. That's a big gap. He's got an opportunity to put the ball in anywhere he wants. But for me, here, the danger is actually this guy here. That's what I'd be thinking, because if he puts the ball into the back, no one really knows at the moment. Obviously, Andrew's not really fully aware that there's a player in behind him. Brandon Boy is somewhere a bit further down the pitch. We're just going to play this a bit slower than usual. So first ball is terrible. So we've got now a chance to regroup. Brandon's now jogging back into position. Should have hopefully he's going to sprint. But to be fair, he's kind of back in an okay position from here. Balls come in. Now, for me, there's 2 centre defenders there. There's a player that's literally splitting them. They're going directly into the middle of them. One of them's got to take charge here. Andrew should either be shouting to Henry that he's come in. Obviously, that could have happened, or Andrew should have just took charge of it himself and just gone with him, because that could have been an own goal. And luckily, somehow we managed to kind of just get away with this one as Andrew plays it onto the post. Some say he meant to do it. I'm not too sure, but yeah, it was just very, very lucky. Corner comes in. I mean, he wins the header there. I suppose you'd like to be, your players stronger, but I actually mentioned off in the, because I think that was Maffler, wasn't it, who was marking him? Was it Maffler who was marking him there? He's not the best. It doesn't seem like he's the best in the air. That's one thing we might get exposed on again, unfortunately, where we're poor at set pieces again. Not really 100% sure how this happened here, because no pressure at all, and just passes the ball to the player you probably don't really want to pass the ball to. Carlos knocks over to Gustavo. Not the best shot from him there. Really tame as well, to be fair. Not a lot of power into it. Trying to trick good amount of trickery. He gets a decent ball in there, and if Tristan kind of, I think if you would have done that a few weeks into the season, I think maybe Tristan might have made the right run there, but he's kind of just waiting for the opportunity to fall to him rather than making any kind of run. But again, that will just come with time. That's just something that he'll work on. He'll get to know the team and kind of what they're about soon. So it will come. This is literally his first game and minimal training minutes with the team as well. Good run here. Not really being closed down much. Again, Maffler just needs to get the kind of angles down on the crosses. Seems to let them have their opportunity to kind of. Actually, I think that was Delegaza then, wasn't it? Yeah, because he's already. I think he was on. But whoever was playing left back there just needs to get closer to their player, just to tighten the angles down a bit more. Another yellow card there. I mean, the referee was just. Again, I'm not talking about the referee. Decent ball in there, kind of half dealt with. Comes back to the player. Good blocking again by Adam. And Turner comes and claims. I mean, overall, to say it was just a really scrappy match. Just really hard to get anything going. We've got Taishan on now, running at the defence. Does what Taishan does. I mean, I think it was a great run by Taishan and drew the foul in there. I think he's desperate for some minutes. He is. He needs and wants the minutes. So I don't think he's going to be hanging around on the bench for too much longer, and we'll talk about that shortly. But yeah, that goes. That's all she wrote, really, guys. So back to the show.
Who's that? Ready, Mon. Who's that? Ready, Mon. It's Matt Turner.
Do you know any of the players on Houston that we are playing? Can you name them and give me their numbers?
I've got a hard job setting up their set pieces, remembering all your names.
Who's that? Ready, Mon.
Right, it's question time, and thank you to everyone who has submitted a question. Obviously, be sure to either comment on the video down below, or you can subscribe to me on not subscribe. I didn't mean subscribe at all. Follow me over on my socials. It's at NERevs UK on Instagram and on Twitter as well. Just send me questions there. First one comes from Will. Now, Will, I'm going to be, you've kind of hit the nail on the head what I'm going to be discussing in the next segment, which is my kind of predictions and how I think the Revolution should line up. And you've kind of, I think, we're on the same train of thought here, which is, I suppose, good to see. But you've put Taishan looked good, and he's being looked at by big teams. Should he be starting? Only issue is how. Would rather see him in the attack, but with the roster Bruce brought out against DC was very good looking. Could you see it as a 4-2-1-3 with Bo benched? Now, yeah, obviously Taishan is being looked at. Especially Juventus scouts have been out to see to him and supporting some big clubs. And yeah, I do agree that he probably should be starting. And you've kind of, as I say, I'm not going to divulge too much because it's in the next section. But yeah, for me at the moment, I think Gustavo Bo needs some time on the bench to kind of let him know that he might be a DP player, but when you're not performing to the level that we need you to perform to, you don't make the squad because it's not fair, especially when you've got players that are maybe better suited on the bench that are playing well and do deserve the minutes. So, but we'll kind of divulge into that one in the kind of next segment. David over on Twitter asked me, is Taijo pronounced like Taishan? I mean, I don't know. Is it Taijon or is it Taishan? Is it Taishan Buchanan? Have I just been saying it wrong? I mean, it's unheard of. I have never in my life mispronounced a name of a player. I mean, that is disgraceful, David. A man without a position. No, I don't think he is. I think if you kind of look, we've got a lot of players that got really, really good ability and really good versatility as well. I mean, look at Dewan Jones, for example. I mean, he will literally just slot in any position he asks him to play, and he'll give a really good account for himself, any position. Fair enough, I know the first game of the season, maybe not his best few kind of first 20 minutes or so or whatever, but, I think as he grew into the game, he got better and better. But, yeah, I mean, I don't think he's a man without a position. I think we know what his position is. His position is wide right. What kind of aspect that was. I mean, who knows? I mean, do you give Carlos a position? I mean, I don't think we do. So I don't think it's kind of a bad thing. But the pronunciation thing, I've never got any pronunciations wrong. We've then got Riley as well. Riley asked, what are your initial thoughts on the new guys? So far, so good, to be fair. Obviously, it's very, very early days, so I don't want to say too much, but I kind of mentioned in the first segment that, Captain looked very tidy on the ball, looked good, good range of passing. Tristanthan looked, really, really, just solid, to be fair. Like, came inside, I don't think the defender's going to know what to do with him because he's kind of, a two-trick pony rather than Pinilla. The one-trick pony, that's why I think Pinilla kind of went downhill because the first season teams didn't really know what to do with him, but by the second season, everyone knew what to do with him, and then he didn't really have anything else to offer, whereas I think Tristanthan looks like a different class of player, and I think, only things can only get better, basically, and that's a reference from a Take That song, if anyone knows who Take That even is, because, as he starts gelling with the team more and more, it can only get better, and Mafla looked solid. As I mentioned again, a little bit of flair to the defence is never a bad thing, as long as it's done in the right vein of form and at the right times. But yeah, so far, out of the three kind of, I suppose, big name signings that we've brought in, they look good. They look good. Delgado I didn't really get to see much of, but he looked composed and stuff when he kind of was called upon. But yeah, so far I've been fairly happy with what we've kind of what we've seen from the Revolution signings. So yeah, that's actually it. So there's just a 3, but 3 is better than none or 1 or 2. So we're heading in the right direction there. But I do appreciate your questions, guys. And as I say, we're going to head over now to the predictions section, as I will kind of divulge a little bit more on Will's question there. Right, okay, prediction time. Before, as always, we get into the kind of predictions, what I'm going to do is I'm going to run through how I believe the Revolution should line up against Atlanta United, and then obviously we'll kind of go into my predictions, obviously, of the game and what I believe probably Bruce will start with. So I believe that this should be the lineup. We should kind of, again, I know that Bruce doesn't like starting formations or whatever, but we are lining up with a 4-2-3-1 formation. We've got Matt Turner in goal, Mafla, Kessler, Farrell and Brandon Bye, pretty familiar back 5, I think, which we'll see throughout the majority of the season. I'm going to still go for that partnership of Polster and Captain. I think it's now theirs to lose. I'm going to go for Taijo Buchanan on the right, Tristanthan on the left, Carlos Hill in a free role, to be fair, not really giving him a position at all, and then Adam Bootskill at top. But we have kind of obviously given Carlos a role on the pitches, such as in that kind of number 10 cam position. So we're going to just play this forward, and we'll kind of just look here, and this is if we were to run it down the left. So if we were to run the ball down the left, I think that's the kind of I don't know what's going on here. It's going far too fast for my liking. I thought I could go step by step. It does not seem to be the way. So from the left-hand side position, you know, we've got options here for when we possibly would see, you know, play the ball down the left, and you know, Tristan possibly could come in. We've got Mafla pushing forward there, and for some reason I can't stop it when I play it. This isn't ideal, but we'll run it back to step 3. Where is it? Step 3 here. So we've got options here for, you know, Mafla to kind of, depends on where the ball is and stuff, but we've got multiple people in the area, and I think this is what will hopefully we'll see happening more, that Tristan will kind of quicken on the left-hand side, so we kind of get in the box. Then we've got Mafla on the overlap. I think he'll be the attacking of the more wing backs, if I'm being brutally honest. Purely because Tristan in this formation would probably naturally more cut inside to kind of give us more options. But that then, if you look at it, if we've got the ball on the left-hand side on Mafla, if he's delivering a cross in there, we've got multiple people kind of in and towards the area. We've got that big centre forward in Adam Butsker in there as well. Down the right, I mean, it kind of looks, I suppose, in a way fairly similar, but we've got Taijo who'll probably be more naturally kind of drawn out to the kind of right-hand side. So he possibly could stay slightly wider, giving us an option to play the ball in there, which still means we've got 4 players kind of in and around the area as well. I think we've got Tristan who can kind of come in from the left-hand side. Naturally, I think that would be his kind of first instinct. We've got Captain who can be arriving late. Carlos can be anywhere around. We've still got Adam Butsker in there as well. And then we've kind of still got the ability to have kind of a back 4 there as well. You can see Farrell can kind of push out a little bit further right, sorry, we've got Polster kind of slot back into centre back if need be, and then we've got Mafla still kind of available to kind of play if he was hit into account, and that's kind of how this is how it kind of would look in the transition periods here. So let's say even back into the defensive transition, we can kind of slot back into a 4-1 formation as well, with Captain kind of, because I think if you have a 2-man defensive midfielder in transition, I think it kind of just gives them too much space. If that makes sense, because you've got 2 people shielding the defence, that kind of means for me that kind of you're giving the people that are looking to kind of start the play just ample opportunity, because you've only really got Carlos who's going to be doing any kind of running. So I think if you kind of, you know, leave Matty Polster as kind of almost like a third defender of anything, but he's the one who kind of sweeps up and kind of comes forward, almost like what I call a halfback position. I think that would work quite well. Obviously, I don't think Bruce is going to line up with this at all. I don't think Bruce will line up with this at all. I think Gustavo Bo will play, but I do think it's going to be very, very similar to this. So I think basically all you'll see Carlos play out on this right hand side here as such as his starting position. I think this will just be Gustavo Bo, but it'll be slightly more up top, like in a kind of a 4-4-2 formation, I suppose you could say it is, as their starting positions. But I think other than that, I think that's what we'll see against Atlanta. I think Buchanan will swap for Gustavo, and that'll be your starting lineup. In terms of predictions, I'm going to go for I'm going to go big here. I don't want to concede them, being brutally honest. I think it's going to be hard to not concede against Atlanta United. But we are at Gillette Stadium again, so there is that to factor in. You know, we fought up a dogged fight against DC United, and Atlanta won't be like that. Atlanta will look to attack, so that will give us opportunity to, you know, for spaces to open up as they look to attack, whereas DC United are a little bit more just look to defend and try to squeeze a point or catches maybe on a lucky break possibly. So it is going to be a completely different ball game, I think. I don't want us to see us concede, but I do think we might do. But I'm going to go big again here, because I think the Revolution could do some damage with the spaces that Atlanta leave us. I think that they'll go full attack mode. I think Atlanta will. I think they've got a point to prove now, and I think they'll go full on attack, and they'll try to take the game to us, and I think we'll hopefully look to exploit that. I'm going to go the New England Revolution 3, Atlanta United 1. It's again bold, big statements here, but that's what we're all about on the channel: bold, big statements. And I'm going to go for 3 goals for the New England Revolution. Those 3 goal scorers will be Adam Butsker will score 2 goals. We get a lovely brace from Adam today, and then I do think we're going to see the first goal from Tristan as well. Assists will come. All 3 assists are going to come from from the midfield partnership of Captain and Polster. I think they'll be instrumental in this game. I think we'll see lots of really good balls into the box from the wide men, but I think they'll set up the ball, and I think that's what Atlanta will probably think is going to happen a lot. But hopefully Bruce will see that and will start playing through the middle more. And I think those two, Captain and Polster, are going to be the guys to set up all three of those goals. So there it is. It's down. It's predicted. It's all said and done. Anyway, guys, I just want to thank you, obviously, all for your support, and it's been going really well. This has to be. I've been really enjoying doing it. Just give you a little bit more visual stuff to watch. It's just something slightly different. Hopefully, this will build into a bigger and better thing. And who knows? Eventually, you might even get to have a player interview on here, and. But as I said, it's quite hard to do that because of time differences and stuff. But as I said, if you have got any questions or predictions or anything, make sure you get involved in the comment section down below, because obviously that helps with the YouTube algorithm. It helps people, get notified of this. Although it's going to be a bit weird if you're seeing a New England Revolution show and you don't even like MLS football. That'll be a bit weird. But who knows? We could get some more fans. I am looking to obviously, take this on to bigger and better things, and obviously, but that only works with the support of you guys. So obviously, I appreciate each and every one of you, and I hope you have a good weekend. And I just really, would love to obviously meet all you guys one day, obviously at Gillette Stadium. But let's go Revs, and I will see you guys very, very soon.